They found him alone in his bedroom, still wearing his pajamas from 3 days ago. No signs of struggle, no cry for help, just a quiet stillness that spoke volumes. The coroner listed natural causes, but to those of us who understand the hidden dangers of aging, it was something far more preventable. Silent cardiovascular collapse, the slow deterioration of blood flow, not because of genetics or disease, but because of one simple bedtime habit he'd been following for decades. And sadly, he's not the only one. Every year, thousands of men over 60 experience the same decline in circulation, in sexual function, in overall vitality, all while thinking they're protecting their health by following advice that's actually killing them from the inside out. For generations, we've been told to wash our feet thoroughly before bed, scrub away the day's dirt and sweat, keep everything clean and pristine. But after age 60, that nightly ritual can quietly cost you everything your body has left, because here's the truth. No one's saying out loud, when you wash your feet with hot water and soap every single night in your senior years, your body doesn't just get clean. It begins to shut down. Your circulation stagnates, your blood pressure spikes, your intimate function withers. And by the time you feel the effects, you're already years behind. I'm Dr. Marcus Chen, a cardiovascular specialist and men's health expert with over 35 years of experience helping aging men reclaim their vitality, strength, and quality of life. I've sat with farmers, veterans, teachers, and grandfathers who all thought they were doing the right thing by maintaining perfect hygiene. And I've watched the quiet devastation in their eyes when the damage finally caught up. Because most of them had no idea that the habits they'd practiced religiously for decades, habits society told them were essential for good health, were now silently backfiring in the most critical years of their lives. But there's hope. In this message today, I'm going to walk you through the 4 real physiological consequences that occur when you overwash your feet after 60, and more importantly, how to protect your circulation and intimacy before it's too late. These are simple, practical, medically sound solutions that thousands of my patients have used to restore their blood flow, boost their energy, and avoid the common issues that most men mistake as just getting old. And make sure you stay with me, because the last consequence I'll share is the one even most doctors won't discuss openly. Yet it's also the one that could silently triple your risk of cardiovascular complications if left unaddressed. If you care about protecting your circulation, your confidence, and your independence as you age, you'll want to hear this. And if you're listening right now, I want you to know that what I'm about to share isn't about being lazy or unclean. It's about understanding how your body changes after 60 and making the adjustments that can save your life. Now, let's begin with the first and perhaps most dangerously overlooked consequence of excessive foot washing in your senior years. I've seen it more times than I can count. A man in his late 60s or early 70s walks into my office confused and concerned. He tells me his feet are always cold, even in summer. His legs feel heavy by midday. Sometimes he gets dizzy when he stands up too quickly. And what shakes him the most isn't just the discomfort. It's the gradual realization that his body isn't responding the way it used to. One day he felt steady and strong. The next, something inside just started failing him. It catches most men off guard. Why? Because no one ever told them that overwashing their feet could cause their peripheral circulation to collapse like a house of cards. Let me put this plainly. Your feet aren't just appendages you carry around. They're complex vascular networks that require a delicate balance of natural oils, beneficial bacteria, and proper nerve function to maintain healthy blood flow. When you scrub them aggressively every night, especially with hot water and harsh soaps, something dangerous begins to happen. The protective barrier of your skin breaks down. Blood vessels near the surface become damaged, nerve endings that help regulate circulation start to malfunction. That's not just theory, that's basic dermatological science. Think of it like this. If you took sandpaper to the inside of a garden hose every single day, what would happen? The walls would weaken, the flow would decrease, and eventually the whole system would fail. The same principle applies to the delicate blood vessels in your feet. Skin becomes thinner, your circulation naturally slows, and your body's ability to repair damage diminishes. When you add the daily trauma of hot water and harsh chemicals, you're essentially accelerating the breakdown of your body's most distant circulation points. And here's the terrifying part. This decline doesn't come with a loud warning. It's silent, creeping. You don't notice until it's affecting your entire cardiovascular system. One day you realize your feet are always cold. Then you notice your legs ache after short walks. Eventually, even simple activities leave you breathless because your heart is working overtime to compensate for the circulation you've damaged. I've had men sit across from me, eyes filled with worry, asking if they're having heart problems. Some are, but not in the way they think. Their hearts are struggling because they've been fighting a losing battle against circulation damage that started at their feet and worked its way up. The medical term is peripheral arterial disease, and while it has many causes, chronic overwashing of the feet is one of the most overlooked contributing factors in older men. What starts as dry, cracked skin becomes poor circulation, which becomes cardiovascular strain, which becomes a life-threatening condition. And let me be clear, this isn't about being dirty or unhygienic. It's about understanding that your 70-year-old feet don't need the same aggressive cleaning that your 30-year-old feet required. They need gentleness, moisture, and respect for the delicate systems that keep your blood flowing. The solution isn't complicated. Wash your feet every other day, use lukewarm water, choose gentle soaps, and always moisturize afterward. Your circulation will thank you, and your heart will stop working so hard just to keep you alive. But while most men fear circulation problems, what they don't realize is that's just the beginning. Because the next consequence affects something even more personal, something that strikes at the core of masculine identity and intimate relationships. Let me show you exactly how this usually unfolds. It starts subtly. A man notices he's not responding to thank you, and your heart will stop working so hard just to keep you alive. But while most men fear circulation problems, what they don't realize is that's just the beginning. Because the next consequence affects something even more personal, something that strikes at the core of masculine identity and intimate relationships. Let me show you exactly how this usually unfolds. It starts subtly. A man notices he's not responding in the feet, and those nerve endings are more connected to sexual function than most people realize. Here's what most people never hear. Your feet contain thousands of nerve endings that communicate directly with your spinal cord and brain. These nerves help regulate blood flow throughout your entire body, including to your sexual organs. When you damage these nerves through overwashing, you're not just affecting your feet. You're disrupting the entire communication network that controls arousal and performance. The hot water and harsh soaps that seem so innocent are actually causing microscopic damage to these nerve endings night after night. Over months and years, this damage accumulates. The signals that should be traveling from your feet to your brain, telling your body to increase blood flow when needed, become weaker and less reliable. This is why so many men over 60 experience a gradual decline in sexual function, even when they're otherwise healthy. It's not just testosterone. It's not just age. It's often the result of damaged circulation and nerve function that starts at the extremities and works its way up. I've seen men who thought their intimate life was over discover renewed vitality simply by changing how they care for their feet. Not because foot care is magical, but because they stopped damaging the very systems their body depends on for healthy blood flow and nerve function. One patient, a 68-year-old retired teacher, told me he'd been using a pumice stone and antifungal soap every night for years, thinking he was preventing problems. When he switched to gentle washing every other day and started using a moisturizer, his circulation improved so dramatically that his wife noticed the change before he did. This isn't about vanity or performance anxiety, sleeping more soundly, and yes, experiencing renewed confidence in intimate situations. But while nerve damage might affect your personal life, the next consequence is something you feel every single day. It shows up in your energy levels, your mood, and your ability to enjoy the activities that once brought you pleasure. There's a kind of fatigue that older men don't often talk about. It's not the tiredness that comes from physical exertion or a poor night's sleep. It's a deep, persistent exhaustion that seems to settle into your bones and never quite leave. You wake up tired. You feel drained by midday. Simple activities that once energized you now leave you feeling depleted. And most concerning of all, you start to lose interest in things that used to bring you joy. What's shocking is how often this chronic fatigue can be traced back to one overlooked cause: the body's constant struggle to maintain circulation and nerve function. When the feet, your body's foundation, are being damaged nightly. Your cardiovascular system isn't just about your heart. It's a complex network that includes your feet as crucial endpoints. When you damage the circulation in your feet through overwashing, your heart has to work harder to maintain blood flow to your extremities. This extra work doesn't just stress your heart, it drains your energy reserves. Think about it. If your car's engine had to work twice as hard just to maintain normal speed, how long would it last? How efficient would it be? The same principle applies to your cardiovascular system. When circulation is compromised at the extremities, your entire system becomes less efficient, and that inefficiency shows up as fatigue. But there's another layer to this that most people never consider. The nerve damage caused by aggressive foot washing doesn't just affect circulation. It affects your body's ability to regulate stress hormones, sleep cycles, and even mood-regulating chemicals. Your feet contain pressure points and nerve pathways that traditional medicine has recognized for thousands of years. When you damage these pathways through overwashing, you're not just affecting local circulation. You're disrupting communication networks that help your body maintain energy, balance stress, and regulate sleep. I've seen men who complained of chronic fatigue, depression, and insomnia discover that their symptoms improved dramatically when they stopped overwashing their feet. Not because foot care is a miracle cure, but because they stopped interfering with their body's natural regulatory systems. One patient, a 72-year-old former construction worker, had been struggling with exhaustion for years. He'd tried supplements, changed his diet, even consulted with sleep specialists. But when we identified that his nightly foot scrubbing routine was damaging his circulation and nerve function, and he made the simple change to gentler care, his energy levels returned within weeks. This isn't about believing in alternative medicine or mystical connections. It's about understanding that your nervous system and circulatory system are incredibly sophisticated networks, and when you damage the endpoints of these networks, the entire system suffers. The chronic fatigue that many men experience after 60 isn't always about age or disease. Sometimes it's about the accumulated damage from decades of well-intentioned but harmful habits. And the solution can be as simple as treating your feet with the respect and gentleness they deserve. But while fatigue might seem manageable, even expected at a certain age, the final consequence is the one that can literally be a matter of life and death. It's the one that shows up in emergency rooms, in sudden cardiac events, and in the quiet moments when men realize their bodies are failing them in ways they never saw coming. Remember, the way you clean your feet might seem minor compared to diet or exercise, but your body doesn't see it that way. Every time you expose those sensitive nerve endings to harsh chemicals and scalding water, you're sending a message throughout your entire circulatory system. The damage accumulates quietly, invisibly, until one day you wake up and wonder why intimacy feels distant, why your energy has disappeared, why simple activities leave you breathless. Water, use gentle soap every other day, pat dry instead of scrubbing, and moisturize regularly. These aren't just suggestions, they're prescriptions for preserving the very foundation of your health. Your feet carry you through life, but they also carry the responsibility of keeping your blood flowing, your nerves communicating, and your body functioning as the remarkable machine it was designed to be.